that kind of like the concept when like to think of someone not being connected with their own sexuality, with their own body, with their own wants, desires, that kind of thing, you know? Like,
it's not really crazy to think about it because it's so normal for people not to be in touch with their own sexuality. Right. You know what I'm saying?
The whole reason why we're having the show. Right?
Exactly. So yeah, it's but the things that you learn, you know, because I should be forever learning. It's just amazing just to know so many different things out there to learn about yourself and different things that you can do to actually be able to tap into different types of eroticism and all of that. So it's really great.
Absolutely. You know, I like that you use the word eroticism because even that word, just that term, kind of makes people kind of squirm in their chairs, you know, and not necessarily in a good way. I've noticed in conversations with myself and having others in earshot of those conversations, and literally like, oh my gosh, you know, eroticism. What? Oh my goodness, this is not stuff that you should be talking about in public. It's not.
It's getting a lot better, but still, you know. And then we kind of taken a few steps back with what's happening now, you know, with politics concerning women in their bodies. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it's I don't know. You take 2 steps forward and take 3 steps back. I don't know.
I feel like we should all just let it out. You know,
everybody, the whole world needs one big orgasm. That's it. World peace, everything will be back where it was. You know, I just really do believe that.
I love that idea. We should make a movement on that. You know, like
orgasm movement. Who's down? Who's down?
Y'all leave comments.
If you're watching us on Instagram and on Facebook, put it in the comments. Who's down for the Big O movement?
There it is, the Big O movement.
I mean,
we had Hands Across America, right? Like way back when. So I mean, we can
orgasms across America. Hey, oh yeah, orgasms across America.
That's it. So we're moving with that. So y'all just stay tuned. Maybe we'll bring that back up next show. You know.
I got people raising hands and saying yes, they're down.
I can imagine.
Yes.
So I want to dive into you know, this is part 2. So
I know.
We're gonna like open it up a little bit more.
You want to dive in? You want to open it up? All of that. Yeah. You got to be careful with the words, man. You know.
Yeah, you know, I want to just go hard on this.
Go hard. See. Telling you, man.
I got it all down.
We won't get through this segment if you keep on with words like that. You know what I'm saying?
So how about we enter into this conversation about interesting things.
Enter in? It's still saying enter in. It's okay. Just go ahead. It's all right because we have no inhibitions here.
Exactly.
We're
go
good.
Ahead.
We're good.
100%.
Well, I tell you what I wanted to do. What I want to do is I do want to give some stats on some things today, right?
Let's go, yeah.
So we're going to just go with the flow on some things, and I'm going to give you all the real, but I also want to give some stats on some things. So can I open up with some stats?
Absolutely.
Okay. So I think it's important for people to know that 50% of women and 40% of men have a sexual problem.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
Wow. So when you say problem, like, so... You know, what different ways can this manifest, you know?
I mean, it varies, but actually broken down even further, 1 to 2 women have a problem with their sexual health, and then 1 in 3 men have a problem with their sexual health.
Wow.
So, like, sexual problems are in the top 3 reasons why people break up, why people divorce. It's the number 1 reason. Number 2 and 3 is kids and money.
And money.
Yep, you know it's money. It's gotta be money. And so different reasons are, like for women, it's like pre-orgasma. It is like painful sex. You know, so those are reasons for, you know, for women. And then for men, you know, of course, there's always erectile dysfunction.
Right.
There's always for them pre-ejaculation. I mean, there's so many different issues, you know, and to be honest, the reason why I do what I do for women is because there are less resources out there that cater to women. You know what I'm saying? Where's our pill? You know, where's our pill?
I was about to say, it's a little big pill, you know?
Yes.
I could have sworn I read something a while back about the pink pill. However, I don't think it did very well.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Darn.
You know? And then there's desire discrepancy. So that's one of the reasons.
What are you talking about, desire discrepancy?
I'm glad you asked. So let's just say like you and I were a couple, right?
Okay,
and you're desiring sex a lot more than I am.
Okay, I understand.
There's a discrepancy there, right? And sometimes it has to do, you live that one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So sometimes it has to do with the person in the relationship. Like maybe they're desiring sex from someone else.
Yeah, true.
Maybe not desiring it from you because there may be issues there. Or there could be something that's going on with them, you know, physiologically.
There you go.
You know what I mean?
It's okay.
Sometimes.
So when you're talking about these things, like there's got to be a brick wall that I mean I'm sure that you hit a lot of times, because these are topics, issues that people are having that, I mean I'm just gonna go out there. I don't think it's very easy to talk about, just off the cusp. But so how are some ways that someone can like open up about this, feeling comfortable? How are some ways that you allow that for the people that you work with?
Well, of course, the one answer that people always give, especially, like in the professional world, they'll talk about therapy, right? But it's hard for people to actually go and talk to a therapist. And then some people, in a lot of cases, can't afford to talk to a therapist, go to a therapist, right? Then making sure you get a good therapist, like, do they know what they're talking about?
You might have to go through 3, 4, 5,
Yeah, you might have to.
It's expensive in itself, right?
Yes. But what I actually do in my profession, I have these fun ladies' nights.
Yeah.
These pure romance parties I do.
I was wondering what goes on behind the curtain.
Yeah, So that really, we really provide a safe and collaborative space for women to actually talk about stuff. And whatever they're not comfortable talking about, like out there with everybody else at the party, we provide a private shopping experience. So, people come into what we call the Vegas room, because everything that happens in Vegas should stay in Vegas. But the time that we live in right now, people aren't really keeping too much to themselves lately. They're just putting it all out there. I'm just saying.
There's nothing wrong with that. I'm saying there is nothing wrong with being open with yourself.
Absolutely. But if you're outing somebody else, though.
True. Very true.
So, in that shopping room, there's so many amazing, intimate conversations that happen. Some that are enlightening, some that are empowering, some that are cringing, make you cringe. I've even, like dropped a tear or two in the shopping room when I'm talking to someone that's talking to me about their past sexual traumas, or issues they're, having in their marriage. And they want to buy up all the things because there is that desperation and that hope to make this marriage work or this relationship work. So whatever I can get my hands on, I'm willing to do and try everything. And so that's why it's also important that as a consultant that I stay educated, because I never know what kind of questions are going to come at me. You know what I'm saying?
I can imagine you've gotten some curveballs.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And then, we have to also remember, and I've learned that not having an answer is not a failure. But then I can actually say, you know what, I don't have the answer to that, but I can definitely get it for you. Absolutely. I'll have the resources for you. We've got the Patty Brisbane Foundation. They, medical staff and board can answer all the questions that I cannot.
Absolutely. So you're backed not only by all the research that you've done, you've amassed in your experience in your profession, but you're backed by Pure Romance's like board of healthcare professionals. Yes, absolutely. That's fantastic. So
I've got another statistic for you.
I was actually about to ask you.
Were you? Okay. Yeah. 80% of couples report that satisfactory sex is essential to the relationship. So couples with low sexual satisfaction, it accounts for actually 50 to 70% of their total relationship dissatisfaction. Wow. So where people say it's not a deal breaker, it's a deal breaker. Absolutely. For a lot of people, okay? And contrary to what many people may believe, a recent study of gender normative heterosexual couples showed that 60% of the time women reported higher sex drives than their partner. Yep. Keep on thinking that women aren't sexual beings. Keep on thinking that women aren't sexual beings and that we don't want it. Girls need love too. You heard that song? Girls need love too. Hey,
Isn't it? Yes. I love you're serenading us here. I think that's actually really important to point out, though, because I feel like, all of us, we're all sexual creatures. That's something that's not only vital for our species' survival, but it's also vital for connectivity in relationship, that kind of thing. Obviously, it's the number one reason for divorce and that kind of thing. That's really high statistics. So, what is it though that I guess makes that stereotype that women don't want sex as much as men, like
sexism and just men and control and just everything is about the male dominant, and just that whole imagery to make it seem like men are much more sexual beings, that they also can do more, can please more, and that's not really happening. That's like the whole macho stereotype that the world has been putting out there. It's been happening forever.
I feel like there's like a it's definitely not proportional, right? But I feel like the now kind of movement is, and I wouldn't even call it a movement, but I mean the stereotype is starting to change, where the man, the macho-ness, that kind of thing, the like, oh, I can get you there kind of thing, is starting to look more as like Neanderthal, So now we're having kind of like a flip of like woman superiority. And men like, well, y'all guys are here for the hardware, but not for
right.
Not for
well, we still
else,
haven't even the playing field when it comes to the orgasm.
Well, I mean, I don't think. Okay, so here's my personal perception on the female orgasm versus the guy's male orgasm. Our hardware is just not built with the nerve endings to accommodate what a female has, just the hardware. However, I have personally, felt a out of body experience, a absolute, eyes roll back in my head, toes curled, that kind of thing. So I feel like the heightened level of orgasm, or that like life-changing orgasm, can be reached by male or woman, regardless of the hardware. It's all depending on the connection between your partner,
Okay, I need you to elaborate a little bit more.
Okay, on which part?
On when you say that you don't think that your hardware, like, it's made to actually be able to. Are you saying to be able to?
I mean, I'm just talking about the sheer number of nerve endings in the head of a penis versus the clitoris. The clitoris is literally nothing but nerves for pleasure alone. However, the penis, just in the evolutionary process, going from the female to now we're going to be a male in the womb kind of thing. Because
they're essentially the same.
Exactly.
It's just right.
I mean,
but you could definitely. You just got to know what to do and what to touch.
Exactly, and that's why I bring up the connection. The more so that
I'm laughing at the comments.
No, I know.
Somebody said, "What the hell? What, Greg?" They're like, "What?" Oh yeah, man, they're coming for you
now.
They said women should rule the world. Absolutely.
Oh, I feel that is completely and utterly backwards.
Uh-oh.
And here's why. Because it shouldn't be a woman versus man thing. The very truth of the matter is the thing that separates both of us is the identity, of being a male, being a woman. I mean, obviously there's hardware differences, but essentially we're both human. And
where are you going with this, Greg?
I'm going with there shouldn't be any like men are better or women are better. There can't. Because guess what? The only way you're going to have fantastic sex, well, I wouldn't say the only way, but when you have a man and woman having sex the way that is the best, is if both aren't coming like fighting each other. They're equally pleasing themselves and each other.
Okay, I'm glad that you brought that up, because when I think you asked me the question, or you were going to ask me the question, what is good sex?
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So good sex is actually basically what you said a little bit, right? Is that
both
right? Yes. Is the best secret to being a great lover is being able to communicate to your partner exactly what it is that you want and need, and also insist that they do the same.
Right, absolutely.
It's just that simple.
Absolutely.
It's that simple.
It breaks down to simplicity. When having that conversation though, that's the taboo part. That's the like, this feels weird. But I feel like if you're not feeling a little uncomfortable, if you're not feeling those weird feelings, having this conversation or going into this experience with another person, then maybe it's time for a little bit more self-reflection on yourself, on your relationship that you have with your own sexuality. And
that's why masturbation is extremely important.
100%.
That's why just as we we may as well segue into that, because they're tearing you up in this chat. I'm gonna tell you.
All right.
But you're right. Being in tune with yourself, and that's why we've got to get the message across that it's not a bad thing, that it's not a taboo thing to actually masturbate, to explore your own body. That it's extremely important to do it. I think one of the doctors on the panel for Patty Brisbane Foundation said it best. She said, from the cradle to the grave. From the cradle to the grave, you should rub it. You should touch it, right? I mean, this is me.
Patty Brisbane.
No, not Patty. One of the doctors on her board said, from the cradle to the grave, you should be, because actually it's been shown that even, babies in the womb
Yeah.
actually do explore their genitalia and things like that. They're touching. It's not a dirty thing.
100%,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
And and there are so many health issues that can be prevented from women by simply keeping the blood flowing to that area. There's so many issues that women have because they're not. And all of that, is what the research that the Patty Brisbane Foundation does, is actually putting the information out there, putting the money behind the experimentation and all the information like that. It's extremely important. But this is, so author Dan Savage actually coined this term, and I pulled this off of one of Dr. Brittany Blair talked about this. But when we talk about good sex, he also said it should be good, which is knowing your body and pleasure, giving, pleasure for your partner, and game, up for new things.
Ooh.
So GGG, the 3 G's. Give it up.
GGG.
Knowing your body and pleasure, pleasure for your partner, giving pleasure to your partner, and being game, up for anything.
I love that last part, being up for anything. You know, that
I knew you would.
Oh,
because I know a little something. I knew you would. But go ahead.
we'll get into that part 3, so make sure you guys stay tuned. We'll go get into all of that part 3, because I don't have no shame. So, the being up for anything though, that has to be a exciting exploratory experience. And I feel like it's really important for partners to recognize when their partner isn't feeling comfortable. That's really important, because you can't get to the game part, the exploratory part, if both parties aren't comfortable with themselves. Right. And that's a conversation in itself. And I feel like that's really important for both parties to say, take the time to make sure that that's understanding, but also collectively move forward and this is the relationship that we want, or this is the sexual relationship we want, and be gentle with it, because once you get to the game part, I'm telling you, guys,
game on.
Game on. Game on.
And I tell you, we have and for anybody that's listening and that's watching, if you slide into my DMs, I can actually give you a link to an app called the Lover app. That is actually an FDA approved app. Dr. Brittany Blair actually developed it, and it's had some really great things on there for you to, first of all, find out the lover type that you are, and see what lover type your partner is if you have one, right? But then there are also, it's a plethora of information, but just because we mentioned, game on, is that there's a turn-ons game that you can actually do within the app, and you can do it like, you and I are a couple, you can do it on your phone, I can do it on mine, and if there's a match for certain things that we both like or want to try, it'll show a match. Yeah, it'll show a match. But if I'm not down for something that you're down with, it won't out me either.
Very nice.
Oh yeah,
that's beautiful. So so you create a profile on this thing, because you sent this to me, and I did mine, and I was actually trying to go through my pictures, because I took a
yeah, I want to know what kind of lover you are, Greg. I think you told me you're an altruist.
No, it wasn't that.
Oh no, wait a minute, you're not, because that's Angel. You're right. You're not the altruist.
No, I'm not.
We're the same. We're sovereign. We're both the sovereign. That's what it was. Got it. I
was reading. Okay, guys, listen up. Seriously, everybody's listening. This app, go check it out. I was reading the breakdown of the Sovereign, and I was like, holy shit, they've been spying on me?
Right.
They've been
you could really relate, right?
Because I really was like, wow, this is actually helping me understand more of me. Like, oh wow, that makes sense, that this is what I'm attracted to, or I'm more so, I don't know, I'm more so, I really, 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 really like to help you have a great time. That's what I'm all
You're
about.
really into pleasing your partner.
So, so reading that, and I was like, wow, this is right on. So guys, take the quiz.
Yeah, I'll send you a link, and it's free. It's a 32 question quiz. The quiz is free. The turn-ons game is free as well. And then if you want to do more in the app, you can actually subscribe, and that's just a whole other step. But I'll hook you up. Slide into my DMs.
Please do. It's worth it. It's worth it. So I want to get into to one of the other questions that I was asking you.
I think I know what you're gonna ask, but go ahead.
So we're talking about pleasure and personal pleasure, that kind of thing. So does size matter?
I knew that was what you were gonna ask me. All right. So yes and no. Size only matters to the person and their preference.
Okay.
Right? But as it pertains to how one is pleased, how one is pleasured, size does not matter. The average size penis is 4 to 6 inches long.
Right.
Okay.
I researched that today.
And the vagina, 4 to 6 inches deep.
It's perfect.
It's a match.
It's a match.
It's a match.
It's almost like a match made in heaven.
Right? And then you got to remember that for women, like most women are not going to be pleased by just, like penis vagina.
Right.
That's not happening. We need clitoral stimulation.
So elaborate.
We need clitoral stimulation. You need me to elaborate?
Well, I mean, okay. So what is that? What is that to? I mean, to any guy, like, I can't say any guy. There's lots of guys out there that are hip to this, but to a lot of men out there, well, she said she needed clitoral stimulation. Okay, so they go down there like they're brushing off some like wild terminals.
Oh, like the DJ at the DJ booth.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, see, go ahead.
So my ex-wife, great job. She's pure wellness consultant as well. So I've learned a lot just from her and her and I relationship, because again, let's just say in clitoral stimulation, it's not really specific enough. Guys, we have different tools, so our tools are easier pleased than
a woman's clitoris could be stimulated on a doorknob.
So
when you say that,
however. It can be stimulated by a doorknob, but I mean
it's not a one size fits all.
But you got to be in the mood for that to even happen.
See, but then there we go into the desire discrepancies again.
Right.
Now, because there are some people that need to be stimulated to get to desire.
Right.
There's some people that have to have desire first to even get stimulated. So maybe they're stimulated by watching porn, or maybe they're watching their partner or someone else undress or do something, and that helps to get you there. Sometimes people actually they get to that point of desire when you start touching them, and even if they weren't in the mood before, you start touching them and now they're in the mood. Yeah. So it's not a one size fits all when you talk about clitoral stimulation. Every woman's different. Right. So you're going to have to learn your woman's body. Absolutely. If you have a female partner, you've got to learn her body.
And I'll just say this right off the bat. I mean, in my experience, going straight to clitoral stimulation it's not really efficient across the board. It's not. That's a lot of times a turn off. Because you've skipped a lot of other really sensitive parts in the body.
A lot of times, what's a turn off?
Just going straight for clitoral stimulation.
Well, it depends on the person. It also depends on the situation.
True.
Because what if you're already hot and heavy? Maybe you guys,
Maybe you've been on the dance floor all night.
Exactly. You know what I mean?
Talking back and forth all day.
It could be, So again, it's not a one size fits all, because some people are, listen. I mean, let me educate you here. Women would love, and doctors have said that we need about 20 to 30 minutes of foreplay
100%.
in order for our bodies to be ready to receive our mate, in order for sex to be at its best. Exactly. But that clitoral stimulation is also part of the foreplay. Absolutely. So yes, we want to kiss, yes, we want to touch, yes, we want, different, parts of our body to be touched, but you can never go wrong with the clitoris, okay? Now, you said a lot of women. There is a small percentage of women that have such a high sensitivity to clitoral stimulation to where they may be the person that's like, that doesn't do it for me, I'm too sensitive, don't touch me, or I have to be the one to do it myself.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I'm more so talking about the desire, like creating the desire from just every single time you're going to clitoral stimulation, just not saying this is again one size fits all. Understanding that going straight to anything every time it's not going to yield the same results every time.
Oh, no, so absolutely not.
Taking your time and understanding your partner, like you said, and understanding the situation, like you said, that's what I'm more pointing out is, clitoral stimulation is awesome, and that's exactly what you got to do, but don't just go there. Don't just, spend your time there.
Oh, no. You definitely want to mix
20 to 30 minutes, it's worth it. Definitely worth it.
To do all the things.
It really is.
100%.
100%.
Absolutely. And you got to remember, a woman's body is always changing.
Absolutely.
And so what felt good to her yesterday may not feel good to her next week.
What felt good to her an hour ago.
An hour ago, like real talk, and then the partner is like, oh yeah, I got her figured out now. I know where that spot is now. And then they go back for the move or for the spot, and then she's laying there like, la-di-da-di-da. You're like, what again. We're like, well, last week you loved it. Well, this week I don't. Okay.
What are you doing?
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Just laying there, you know, like a bump on a log.
Right.
Different thing. You know, women, we're complicated. You know what I mean? But, you know.
Well, we're going to get into some more of the complications as we come back on the second half of the show. And we're going to talk about rat sex, okay? I want to talk about rat sex.
Why?
Yes.
Oh, my God.
It's an interesting study.
Wow. My sister is letting you have it on here. My sister Kim, she says, Greg, learn your woman. There is no cheat sheet to sexual satisfaction.
See, man, I'm not gonna say anything.
Hey, what's up, Kim? What's going on, Steve?
I like to keep everybody in the dark about what
everybody's dark about what they're going to get.
Absolutely.
If you all have questions, feel free to drop them in the comments and keep the comments coming. It's
Absolutely.
great.
Let's get this.
We got another 30 minutes. We're going to dive in. We're going to dive in. Okay, we're going to dive in. We're going to dive in.
Oh man.
Now it's getting a little warm in here.
I know, right?
It's getting hot in here. Don't take off all your clothes. Is it raining?
Yeah.
Oh, I see it.
That's what's up. It rained on me a little bit earlier in Crowley. Well, not Crowley. Down Renfro. Past 35.
I see the rain.
I see the rain.
I can't stand the rain.
Oh.
Against my window.
Uh-oh.
I can't stand the rain.
Man.
Against my
You ever get back into singing?
No.
No?
No, I don't think so. I don't think I want to get back into singing. I write. I love writing. I mean,
Yeah? Well, obviously.
I don't want the politics of music and all that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's not really worth it anymore. The money is not the same, especially to deal with all that drama.
Right. I feel that.
Yep.
Like now it's, you gotta get on like you're on your own. I mean, shoot, like Tom McDonald and that kind of thing. Like it's ridiculous. He's totally self-published.
Oh yeah. You don't need labels anymore. You haven't needed them for a while, but.
So I also wanted to talk about this. I want to bring up this medical study from Harvard Medical School about ejaculation. You know, like ejaculating at least 21 times per month can decrease prostate cancer.
Oh, absolutely, 100%.
31%.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
I'm good on prostate cancer. I'm good.
You're good on that. I love it.
I gotta bring this up. Welcome back to part 2 of The Hybrid Life with Coach Greg. Got my awesome guest with me, Angelia Robinson. But first, Joco Community Radio is proud to be the voice of Johnson County, Texas, and is live 365 on the TuneIn Radio Network. To listen or watch, simply go to the tuneinjoco.com to choose where and how. The Joco Community Radio app is now available for free on Android and Apple devices. Simply search your store. Check out our lineup and more on jococommunityradio.com. This episode and more brought to you by Patriot Claims, making your insurance work for you. Reach out to your Texas sales rep, Nona Reed, at 844-839-4245. Again, that is 844-839-4245. So let's dive in it.
You know what I want to
going deep.
I want to revisit something we were talking about offline.
Okay.
You remember that word we were talking about? Did you look it up?
Down.
You wrote it down?
I didn't look it up yet because I want you to lay it on me. Okay, here we go. Tribbing.
Yes.
Tribbing.
Yes.
What is tribbing?
Tribbing. Does anybody out there know what tribbing is? I want to see somebody put it in the comments. I know somebody that's watching knows what it is, but you're going to really trip because it's amazing the different terms. Like, you know what it is, you just don't know this term. So tribbing is basically, it's a form of scissoring, right, for female to female, right, pleasure, where they actually are, rubbing the labia and the clitoris up against different parts of their body to get pleasure. So that's all it is. It's just a form of scissoring. You can do a whole lot with the labia and with the clitoris in different places that you'll rub it.
Interesting.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier today. I thought I'd bring that up because a lot of people didn't know what it meant.
So
we were actually talking about lesbian porn, and we were talking about homosexual male on male porn and things like that, and it came up.
And it came up.
Yeah.
Like, so tribbing is the term. I'm curious to see just how many people know this term and how many people don't.
That would be interesting.
I want to do my own personal.
Google it. Check out
No.
Pornhub.
I'm not Googling it. I want to do my own study. I'm gonna go to a restaurant and just say tribbing really loud.
Oh my
and
god!
see which ones are-
Oh my gosh, that is good.
Yeah.
Be walking up like, anybody want to trib? Anybody into tribbing? You know, yeah, that would be interesting. I would do that.
I'm gonna do it.
We should do it.
All right, we're gonna do it.
We walk in, we're like, hey, anybody down for some tribbing? Oh my god!
Like 3 people. Like look up. Uh-huh. Well, maybe with you, not with me.
Right. Like, you could watch.
Okay, I'm down for that too.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
I love it. So, I wanted to jump back into some statistics, you know, some facts. So, and also like the study that it's really interesting. I'll bring it up.
This is going to be interesting. I believe
But
it.
first, I wanted to bring up a study from Harvard medical school, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is a study that was done about ejaculation, and if male, and this is done with males, so male ejaculation, so specifically around masturbation, right? To see what the health benefits or risks were for ejaculating a lot. So they said literally, you can decrease your chance of prostate cancer by 31%.
100%
by
true.
ejaculating
Yes.
at least 21 times a month.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
wow.
Yes.
That's amazing. That goes completely against anything I've ever been told in my life. You know, with parents, you're gonna go blind. It's the devil. Like, I mean, all these horrible things. And just like make it like,
Yeah.
I don't want to touch
That's
myself.
right.
You
That's
know,
because
like,
we're not educated.
Right,
But
right.
it's so true. That's what I'm saying. There's so much to learn, about sexual health.
Well, it makes sense though, because when you look at what's going on, whether it's male or female, if you look at what's going on in the body when orgasm is reached, whether male or female, there's some amazing things that are happening. The body is doing some awesome things, releasing some
All
awesome
the
chemicals.
dopamine,
Absolutely.
all the oxytocin. Everything. all the stress and anxiety. That's why I said we need the big O movement.
100%.
If everybody is just having orgasms, there's so many people stuck in sexless relationships.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And by the way, if you to define that, sexless means the couple that is only having sex about 10 times a year. That's
10
considered like a
times a
sexless
year.
relationship.
My goodness.
Yeah.
I hurt my heart.
I know
honestly.
you got quiet on that. Like that hit you hard.
It did hit me hard.
It's
Like,
like, wait a minute, is that a thing? Wait a minute.
man.
What's happening?
Like,
What's happening?
Seriously.
Made me think about the little girl on Poltergeist. What's happening? Oh my gosh.
But for real, wow, that's an interesting
Yeah.
fact. But how sad that is. However, it doesn't have to be.
Does not have to be.
It's not something that this is a life sentence, this kind of thing, and you're going to be stuck in a sexless relationship or even in that relationship. That doesn't have to be continuously sexless.
It does
doesn't have
not
to end either.
And you know what? I'm glad that you mentioned that because there are, people, especially when they get to be a certain age or if they've been together for a longer period of time, they pretty much just settle on this is just going to be what it is.
Right.
And they're just like, we're just not going to have sex ever or that often. And, this is what it is. It's just now a relationship of convenience or whatever the case may be. And that is really sad because there's so many benefits to having good sex.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, the cocktail that's secreted every single time an orgasm happens in the brain.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that alone right there should have everybody clamoring every single day. Like, this is something that is a necessity for my personal health.
I love that. Everyone clamoring.
Everybody clamoring or shuddering.
Yeah.
The stress reducing prolactin for
Heart health.
absolutely. Prolactin
Better
for
sleep.
Exactly.
Yep.
I mean, it goes on and on and on. Not to mention when when you have a healthy sex life, or even just you have a healthy relationship with yourself, you're masturbating a lot.
Yep.
I mean, your happy hormones are being produced at a much more frequent rate, so you're able to stay in a state of happy more often. So
just because you said that, I got to share this. So
okay, please.
This morning, clear my throat. This morning, I had a colonoscopy done. My very first one.
And how was it?
It was great. It was great. Yes.
No,
Greg is like, okay.
Stop. Okay. I want anybody out there. Has anybody ever had somebody be like, oh, I just had a colonoscopy this morning, and it was great. Like,
it was great. So
I'll wait for Tony the Tiger to jump in here. Like,
it's great. I was actually nervous. I was nervous about being put to sleep.
Yeah,
That's what I was nervous about. And everyone that's ever had one, my sisters, my mom were like, "Oh, girl, it's gonna be the best drugs ever. Like, you're gonna love it. Just relax. You're not even gonna know what happened." So when I wake up, and they're right? So they prep me. They give me all these IVs and stuff, and they said, "Well, the medicine's gonna taste a little funny, And so I remember tasting this little funny taste in my mouth, and the next thing you know, I'm waking up, and I'm like, oh, I feel so good.
You hear birds?
Right, what I'm like? I mean, I don't feel any discomfort, so the doctor was really good, or he used lots of lube, right?
No,
so I was like,
it was all about the lube.
It was all about the lube, right? So, like my sister said, it's all about the drugs. So the staff was so amazing, so I woke up and I was just so chipper, and they were just like, man, I was like, I'm ready to go. And they were like, and I was like, yeah. I said, that he must have been really, really good. He used some really great lube. And then she was like, well, yeah, it's all about the lube. And she was like, because, most times people don't get lube. And I said, oh, no. I said, because I am a certified sexual health promoter and I believe in lubricant. And she says, really? Is that really what you do? And I said, yeah. She said, no wonder you guys are so happy, because Angel's in there making jokes and I'm making jokes, and we were just clowning. Oh my gosh. We had a blast coming out of this colonoscopy, okay? It was a very memorable experience. I can't wait till I have my next one. Bring on the propofol.
Oh my gosh, that is amazing. Oh, we just had a power loss. It blinked our system here, so we just kind of went black.
I thought I heard something.
Yeah, it's okay. I think we're still live.
Well, we're still live on
radio.
social media. Yes, we are. I heard a blink.
Yeah,
I was wondering what that was.
I'm literally texting Tiffany right now. What do I do?
We keep talking. The show must go on.
Exactly.
So while you're texting her, I can bring up a question that you had for me. Or I can. How about I answer a question?
Oh, let's answer one of those questions from last week.
Yes. So I had I posted about the show about 2 weeks ago, and I did have some people that had some questions. Right. So this is the universal question from women. What is the one question, I wonder if you know, what's the one question a woman always asks about how can I...
Squirt.
Exactly. You got it, right? How can I squirt?
Yeah.
Something's wrong with me if
Absolutely.
I can't squirt. Listen, ladies, every woman is not going to squirt. It's just not going to happen. Just like every woman is not going to have a clitoral orgasm. Every woman is not going to have them at the same time. It's just not going to happen for every woman. There is nothing wrong with you. And then I know, now this question wasn't asked, but I'll just elaborate, because there's been a big, thing about whether or not it's urine. Is it urine? Is it not urine? So the thing is, it's not urine, although it does come from the bladder. So there is some urine mixed in it.
Wait a minute, hold on.
Yep.
How is it if it's not urine, but it comes from the bladder?
Your bladder can be empty.
Well, I guess you could.
Yes. Right. Yeah, so that's the thing, is that it's not... Now, we do say, if you have, this ejaculation, shooting across the room, it's probably urine. Okay? Okay. And it's not a great experience for everyone. Every woman doesn't necessarily enjoy it, even though there are women I want to be able to squirt. There are squirters that don't enjoy the squirt, because it can be really, really messy for some women.
I can imagine.
You know what I'm saying? And so it's not always a sexy thing, an attractive thing to some people, but there are some people that love the wetness. There are some people that love the smell. And I even venture to say there are some people that love the taste. So you got to remember, people have different things that they're into, different fetishes that they're into.
I totally understand that. I mean, I know.
There you go. There you go.
So with squirting, what I've always heard is, and I want to debunk this for myself and for anybody that I've ever talked to. So, is squirting, is that like a more heightened orgasm or a more heightened experience for female than, say, a orgasm where she doesn't squirt? Is there a difference there?
Absolutely, 100%.
So it is something that is like a mind-blowing thing rather than
it is, but again,
normal.
Yeah, but again, it can be too intense for some women. So every woman does not like it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's very interesting.
Yeah,
very interesting of the too much of an intensity, because I can definitely understand that being a guy. You know, I mean, I don't know if any couples out there, any guys are listening, but I know that, especially right after we get off, you know, like that thing is. Don't do that. It's
like, don't do that.
That is
don't touch me. Don't touch me. Don't touch me.
Yeah, it's like I don't know if I'm gonna elbow you or you know do a backflip. I don't know what's gonna happen, right? So I can definitely understand that and relate with it. However, do you feel like having a desire to squirt? Do you feel like that is it like a taking away from the sexual experience, to trying to squirt, trying to get to that squirting?
No, I think it depends on the couple.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
because there are some people that are game for anything, up for anything, you know,
Yeah.
and it's all about the adventure and trying different and new things to just, you know, see, because there's so many different things that we have not tapped into. Even just speaking of the structure of the clitoris, like most people just think the clitoris is just that little outside clitoral hood and all that. No, like there are legs that extend inside of the vagina, and what we call the G spot, a lot of doctors call the C spot, because it really is just the clitoris, because the clitoris, a lot of it's internal. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So it just depends on the couple and what they're into.
Again, I can thank my ex-wife for that one. I learned that one, and I was just like, wow.
Shout out to Chris Gina King.
Absolutely. She's amazing. But, you know, these bits of information are so vital and they have been for me on not only my own sexual exploration, but, you know, my own sexual performance. And the sex that I'm able to have with partners. It's taking it to another level, because I know I know some things, you know, a little bit of things.
You know some things.
But bringing that to the table and bringing an open conversation and open communication with that, I feel like, I mean, that really has taken, well, the great sex question.
Yep.
Like for me personally, what great sex is sex that has been communicated about first. Like that's the greatest sex.
You're on point.
Absolutely. So let's go to.
You're the one thing you've been wanting to talk about this whole hour. Go ahead, Greg. What you got?
Well, so this goes into fetishes, right? So, and classical conditioning for fetishes. So there are many different ways and theories of why you may have fetishes, that kind of thing. Well, so this is a test that was done on rats.
Okay.
To test classical conditioning, which is something that's usually not of a sexual nature or not arousing. It's coupled with an arousing, like with sex, enough to make that non-arousing thing arousing, right?
Okay.
So, study was done with rats. So they had a test group, rats that had a no jacket. They were putting those jackets on rats, right? So rats
like a jacket, like what I'm wearing right
now. Exactly, like a little black jacket.
Okay.
Dressing them up all nice and letting them get it on, right? So anyway, so they had their control, right? So no jackets, testing them in a sexual situation. They got it on just fine, right?
Got it on, like let's get it on.
Exactly, like let's get it on.
All right, because you're talking about jackets and getting it on, like I don't know where you're going.
That's true.
Okay. All right. Okay.
So now the next group were conditioned with wearing jackets. They wore jackets all day, that kind of thing, and were subjected to sexual behavior with the jacket on. So when they were tested without the jackets, they were able to, or they weren't able to get up at all. They didn't want to have sex at all. Now they took another group that had jackets, that did not have jackets on, and they put jackets on before they had sex. Were able to again get it on just fine. So the study was showed that the ones that were conditioned to wear the jacket and have sex, if the jacket was not there,
right,
they had no drive, no
as
desire.
A man thinketh, so is he.
100%.
You are who you believe you are. So if you believe you can't have sex because you're not wearing a jacket, like, oh no, my penis won't get hard without my jacket. It's like it's Dr. Strange. I need my jacket.
It's a cape. It's a cape.
Yeah, there you go. Cape, jacket. You know what I'm saying?
Nerds out there, damn.
Yes. Yes. I totally get it.
It's such a beautiful example, though, of exactly where the way you think is the way you are. So it's a beautiful example of where fetishes, or some fetishes, can come from. That it's literally a belief, a connection to something that's completely non-sexual that makes you turn, gets turned on, whatever. So what do you have to say about fetishes that you've come across in your profession? Because I know that there's got to be some that you're like, wow, I've never heard of that before.
Yeah, there's one that really sticks out that stays with me all the time, because I'm always training. Like, I'm always, keeping my education going. There's always something to learn. And in one of the classes, one of the doctors, and I apologize, her name escapes me, but she was sharing, a psychologist, that there was a patient of hers that had a shoe fetish, but it was different than what you may think. Because a lot of people have foot fetishes, have shoe fetishes. His thing was, he could not get hard and get excited for sex unless there was a high heel shoe on the floor.
So it just had to be on the floor?
It just had to be on the floor. He could not get aroused unless there was a high heel shoe on the floor.
That's so very interesting.
Right. And so the story behind that was, it gets even more interesting, was that he had a very abusive mother. And when the mother abused him, she was always wearing high heels.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So
the correlation between, I know, isn't it? It gets deep, right? And even when you can't understand it, but there's, something, there's power, there's control, there is regaining your power. Like, there's so many things that could go along with that, and why he was conditioned, right, to only get aroused when there's a high heel shoe on the floor.
So, do you, and this is just in your personal opinion, do you feel like that the abuse that he went through as a child with his mom wearing high heel shoes, do you feel like that is trying to get your control back? Trying to this is me asserting, my dominance over this.
That's my own personal opinion, my thought, and of course I'm not a doctor and I didn't treat the patient, but that's what makes me think about that, is exactly that. Is that was like his way, like he's in control, and it's kind of like in your face kind of thing, like she's here, and I'm,
I'm
you know what I'm saying?
The boss.
Yeah, exactly. Makes sense to me.
The rabbit hole goes deep,
Yeah.
Those kind of cases, this kind of phenomenon always really intrigues me. And I don't really, it's not that I feel bad or weird about the person in question. It's just, it's very interesting because I want to know what makes him tick. What is that? Because I've dealt with, I wouldn't say dealt with, I've experienced different fetishes, but never anything like that.
Yeah.
So in your personal experience, with,
I'll give you another one. Another one?
Okay, yeah, absolutely.
So this particular person had a foot fetish. But it wasn't a foot fetish in the sense that, he liked sucking women's toes or men's toes or playing with feet or even having penetration with feet or toes. He actually had an edifice. He had something made that looked like a foot.
Oh, I've seen this.
You've seen this.
I've seen
and
this.
It actually has a vagina built inside of the ankle part.
At the ankle.
At the ankle.
Yeah.
And it's called a vajankle.
Oh,
it's called a vajankle.
It's called that's what you're talking about.
That's what I'm talking about. You just never know what people are into. Look, I can't yuck other people's yum,
I can't get the name out of my head.
I know, So I don't know. I'm like, do you hold it in thrust or do you get on top of it? Like, I don't know. Do you doggy style? I don't know.
There's a plethora of different ways to use it.
Plethora of different ways you could use it.
The sky's the limit.
Sky's the limit.
I guess how imaginative you are The vajankle. That is a very interesting.
The fact that someone could create that, like you see it in guys, Google vajankle and you'll see it. It's amazing that somebody could build this. Like wow. Yes.
I can just imagine.
It looks
all of
real
right now. Like,
yep.
Oh my God.
Yep, it's true.
It is definitely.
Shout out to all the vajankle lovers. I'm not yucking your yum.
I heard that.
Do your thing.
Do your thing. And I would love to, if you have a vajankle,
you want to see it
from you. I want to hear from you. And I mean, I don't, maybe.
You want them to bring it to the studio, don't you, Greg?
No, not really.
Yes, you do.
Truthfully, honestly, I'd rather not. But send me a picture. Like that'd be.
Well, you got a picture on Google.
Never mind. No, don't do that. Come and talk to me. Let's talk on the radio. I want to know like what it is about the vajankle that is like, yeah. Because honestly, for me, I'm like, not my cup of tea. But
right.
It's so.
But it's someone's. Yeah.
I don't know. Someone that
the mind is a powerful
thing
and
built it. Like, wow, the mind is a powerful thing. So, do you have any more of these?
Those are the two that just stand out in my mind. I'm sure there'll be more as time goes on, as I continue to, consult with people and meet people all around the world. I'm sure that's not the most far out thing, for sure. There's a lot of things that people are into for different reasons.
So, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
What's next for you? I mean, you've experienced so much, you've shared so much, and you know so much about this specific topic. Not only the procreation of our human race, but how to make it really fun. So what's next? What's the next step for Angela?
Well, my career is not just based on empowering women through sexual health. It's also about empowering women through their finances and growing and overcoming their past traumas, not allowing their past to define them. So I'm actually executive producing a reality show. And we're looking to hopefully have that out by summer of next year. Yeah, it's in the editing processes right now, and we've got a lot of great content. Got some great girls on my team that are a part of the show. So shout out to Teresa Cross, to Ende, the panty dropper, and shout out to Hermisha and Lala. They're all a part of the show. And the cameras just kind of follow us around, different times in our lives, the parties that we've done, the vacations we've taken together, the trials and tribulations, the hurt, the pain, the arguments, the almost fights, those kind of things. And just seeing that, we all have similar backgrounds, different things that we've gone through, but we can still become successful and not allow our past to define us and destroy what we build in the future. So I'm all about women's empowerment, the entire woman, everything about her.
I love it. I love it. So okay, I know that you're all about the women, so is there anything that you have that you do for the men, other than, kind of indirectly, obviously, with those that have partners that are men,
mm-hmm.
but is there anything that you do to, anything for the men?
Yeah, tell the men, send your credit card, and then your woman's going to hook you up. That's what I do. Send your credit card. I'm going to hook your woman up. She's going to come home and hook you up. No, but seriously, no. I mean, that is a portion of it, right? But I mean, if there have been men that I've assisted, there have been couples that I've assisted, privately, things like that. So, my mission is definitely, more so women, but I'm definitely, it all spills over. Right. If they have a male partner, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
It always spills over. But my main focus is definitely women. That's my mission.
I love it. So, you have this reality show coming in, and then there's also your book that is absolutely wonderful, and I'm reading more and more through it, and I'm like, oh my goodness, is it going to end?
Yeah.
Goodness gracious. With the success that you've had in especially empowering women with the book that is, guys, you gotta go read it. Where?
So if you were to go to Amazon or go to Barnes & Noble, anywhere, if you Google it, it'll pull up. But if you want an autographed copy of it, you got to slide into my DMs, and I'll send you a private link.
Every time you say that, it's like the voice changes. I'm like,
yes. Slide into my DMs. Yes, and I'll give you a private link to where you're ordering directly from me, and then I can sign your book and I can ship it out to you directly.
Awesome. Guys, wow, we ate up that 2 hour or that hour, but guys, go get the book. Who Are You?
Who Are You? Tales of a Survivor.
It is phenomenal. Join us next week for
yep.
part 3.
Part 3 is going to get deeper.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Oh, that hurt my ears so bad.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Guys,
Share the link.
are you done? Can I get on mine? Are you done?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay. All right, guys. I'll
Uh-oh.
see you next week. I'm gonna do the same thing. I like this. So remember, I love you, and there ain't a thing you can do about it.
We love you. It's not a thing you can do about it. Your girl, Angela.